We are going to attempt a demo class for, okay. We are going to attempt a demo class for Electude light vehicle. Let us start. It's loading up from the website. Yeah, so it is a class on engine and engine management. I'm going to allow
drive. The mechanical components that provide the power to drive the car can be found in the engine block.
So I allowed
These
the sound.
components
That's why
are
you are
referred to
able
as
to
the
hear it
drive.
now.
The piston transfers the power of the combusted gases to the connecting rod. The connecting rod converts the up and down movement of the piston in a rotating movement together with the crankshaft. The camshaft opens the inlet and exhaust valves. The inlet and exhaust valves make sure that the inlet and exhaust ports are opened and closed. The flywheel is a heavy wheel that makes sure there is a smoothly running engine. The oil pump is in charge of the oil supplied to the engine. The coolant pump circulates the coolant through the engine and the radiator. Find the following components: connecting rod, crankshaft, flywheel, valves, camshaft, oil pump, water pump.
Yeah, so after these instructions, I'm going to attempt answering the question. Connecting rod. I'd use the mouse to point it out. Yeah, I got that right. So you see the instructions, the updates
You have now
on the
found
bottom.
one of the 7 components.
Yeah. Crankshaft. Crankshaft is this one.
You've indicated this part, crankshaft. Find this part first, connecting rod.
Okay. I found the connecting rod. Yeah, I had to.
You have now found one of the 7 components.
So now I need to find the crankshaft, the flywheel.
You have now found 3 of the 7 components. You have now found 5 of the 7 components. That's right.
So now, after I've got everything right, I move on to the next question using this arrow in midway on the right side of the screen.
What is the function of the piston? To seal the combustion chamber from the sump. To transfer the combustion pressure to the connecting rod. To transfer the combustion pressure to the valves.
Okay, now this is a scenario where I have to give, I have a choice of 6 answers from 3 questions. So each question has 2 possible answers. I have to say true or false. I have to choose true or false. So for the first one, I believe that's false. That's true. And I believe the second one is true, but the third one is false. So I choose that, and then I check down here at the bottom, and I'm right.
That's right.
So I move to the next question.
What is the function of the connecting rod? To operate the camshaft. To operate the valves. To transfer the movement of the piston to the crankshaft. To transfer the movement of the crankshaft to the piston.
I believe the first two are false, but the bottom two are correct. And I'm correct. So I move to the next question.
Correct. What is the function of the crankshaft? To transfer a rotating movement to the gearbox and wheels. To drive the camshaft. To ensure that the oil circulates.
I believe the first answer is correct. Yeah, I think even the second one is correct because it will do that through the timing belt. The crankshaft will drive the camshaft, but via the driving the belt or chain. So I'll go with that. But I don't think 3 is correct, so I'll say false. So I'm right on that.
Correct. What is the function of the camshaft? To ensure the engine runs smoothly.
I believe so.
To drive the crankshaft.
I don't think so.
To operate the valves.
I believe so. So I think in this case, this is true. This is false. And this is also true. But I believe those are the right answers. But let's imagine on the second question, I also said, decided to answer that this is also right. I'm intentionally answering in a way that I'm sure the answer to the second part is wrong, and we shall see what the results are. Yeah, so it is saying you have correctly assessed one of the 3 statements.
You have now correctly assessed one of the 3 statements.
Yeah, so now because it is saying only one of the 3 statements, and I am sure about the third answer. So it means the first 2 have to be false. And let me answer that and see. So it says now okay. So that was an example of the response you would get if you have some wrong answers. And you can see how the learning system guides you to correct answers. It gives you hints.
What is the function of the valves? To open and close the inlet ports. To open and close the fuel supply. To open and close the exhaust ports. to push the piston down.
Okay, now with this one, I think this is correct. The second statement, I believe, is false. The third one, I believe, is correct. And the fourth one is false. So let's check. I'm correct.
What is the function of the flywheel? To drive the camshaft. To make sure the engine runs smoothly. To provide more power. To make sure it's a low vibration engine.
Yeah, now this time I can answer. I can begin from the bottom. I know. I believe the last answer is correct. To provide more power, I don't really think so. I'll say that's false. Make sure the engine runs smoothly. I'll say yes to that. And then to drive the camshaft, the flywheel, I don't think so. Okay, you have correctly assessed 3 of the statements.
You
So
have now correctly assessed 3 of the 4 statements.
yeah, so now it is guiding me to answering all 4 correctly. I believe I wasn't sure about my second answer. So that's what I'm going to change to false and check again. Oh, I got that wrong. So this is correct.
You have now correctly assessed 2 of the 4 statements.
To provide more power. Oh yes, because it stores rotary energy. So I believe that's the third statement is also correct. Oh, I got that wrong. So I go back to this and
You have now correctly assessed 2 of the 4 statements.
could it be this? Make sure it's the low vibration engine. I thought that was true. I'm going to opt for false. Oh, yeah. So now I've learned something new.
Okay.
As I go along, as I make wrong answers, I'm also learning. So let's go to the next question.
What is the function of the oil pump? To circulate the oil from the oil sump through the engine. To circulate the coolant through the engine block. To build up coolant pressure.
Okay, so I'm sure that is correct. I don't think the second and third statements are correct. So I'll choose false and even false here. So that's right. And then finally,
What is the function of the coolant pump? To build up the oil pressure.
I don't think so.
To circulate the coolant through the engine block.
I believe so.
To circulate the oil from the oil sump through the engine.
No. So check, I'm correct. And that looks like the end of this module. Yeah, I think you've got a good
You have reached the
example.
end of this module.
Yeah, so I believe you can now, yeah, you now have a good idea of what a typical module in Electude class for light vehicles goes. And I think you can see how interactive it is, how intuitive it is. Even if you, uh, of course, it will take you through the learning material first. And then even when you get answers wrong, of course, it will score you in the background. It will score you appropriately for the wrong answers, but you still leave that page after it has guided you to the correct answers. It corrects you immediately.